Because one thing about me is that I'm always going to somehow figure out how to explain life with anime, even if I'm talking to someone who doesn't give a shit about anime. I was talking to my friend who doesn't give a shit about anime. We both have a lot of complex trauma. We both had some really shitty childhoods, and she said she felt like she didn't know how to do some really basic things when it came to like dealing with other people. We never learned how to set boundaries or recognize red flags or stand up for ourselves. Like learning to realize like when someone treats you like that, like that's bad, that's problematic. And being uncomfortable when someone treats you well. We're adults now and we're learning now that all that shit is fucked, but we feel like we're behind the learning curve. I was like, let me tell you a story about a world in which 80% of the population has superpowers. Most of the population has superpowers, 20% do not. So there's this kid and he's part of the 20%. Due to the magic of anime logic, he is somehow able to stumble into some powers. He's able to get accepted into this school for heroes because he wants to be the #1 hero one day. Here's the thing about this kid, even though he has probably the most powerful powers on the planet, he just got them. All the other kids in his class, their powers have manifested since they were toddlers. They've had their entire lives basically to practice and learn how these powers work. So by the time they get to high school, like it's kind of muscle memory for them. Yeah, not for this fucking kid though. Every time he tries to use his powers, he breaks his fucking bones. Every time he tries to use his powers at 100%, his body literally undergoes physical trauma. He's a late bloomer. He learned these skills or got these skills really late in life. In order to keep up, much less be the best in his class, he has to work harder than all of these other fucking kids. Because they've already been given the foundations since they were little. He also realizes he can't go full power. He has to learn how to use his powers a little bit at a time. So like 5%, 8%, 20%. It still hurts like every time, but it's not breaking his bones. The hope is one day he'll be able to use his powers at 100%. So I said to this friend, yeah, I think like we're like that fucking kid. Certain protections and lessons and stuff that we were supposed to get from the adults in our life when we were younger. We fucking didn't. There's people that didn't have the traumatic childhoods that we had were most likely given these tools for life. And they had time in a safe environment to try these tools out all of these years. They don't feel like their bones are breaking or like they want to throw up every time they have to set a boundary or like not people please, or like deal with money or like not freak out when someone actually treats you well. That's because you and I, bitch, we were born quirkless. You know, as adults, we went to therapy and you know what? We learned these tools. But probably because we learned these things as adults, we're just like so self-aware of these concepts. Like we have the potential to be like very, very powerful with these tools. Probably more powerful than most people, but we just got them. We have no muscle memory for it and it hurts. It hurts every time we have to flex that power. Very often we have to take it a little bit at a time. Use these newly gained powers as gently as we can. Like take it slow and be patient with ourselves because the hope is that one day we can use it at 100%. Unfortunately, we're chemically imbalanced now and we have to work a lot harder than everybody else to do these things that should be so simple. Because we were born quirkless and that's not our fault.